This is going to take a while. We're going to have to be.
You have to get.
There's a Dolomite Sprint.
We're looking at the probe now.
I don't like probes.
I do.
Done a ludicrously low amount of miles. Seen it. I saw
My
it.
father-in-law loves these.
This is a really good neck.
4,000.
God, bloody hell.
And my neighbour had one of these. He actually had it was quite a smart one. It was red.
Oh, yeah.
And I swear it said it was a GTI or a GSI
Yeah,
or
they
something.
did do it,
But it had like BBS style wheels and little skirts.
They did do a sort of vaguely sporty version of this.
Yeah, I don't know if it was sporty, but it looked
I think
sporty.
it was one of those that looks sporty but isn't, sort of thing.
And there's a Nova. That's the extent of my knowledge on Novas. What's that, Cresta? These are good, aren't they?
We need to jump in this.
Look at that!
We need to jump in this and have a board meeting.
I searched when I saw one of these here last year. I searched for one for months
I bet
without
you did, yeah.
success.
They're
And
really
then
hard
of
to
course, not long after that, when I bought other cars, one came up and I didn't buy it.
Ah, sod's law.
Didn't they do those with a V6?
Yes, they did.
Is that the PRV V6? See, this is me. I like this. I followed that in.
That's stunning.
That is ace.
But that's not unexceptional, is it?
I would say that, that qualifies.
You reckon?
That's
I thought that was like all top of the range and all
Yeah,
single
yeah, but
dancing.
that's not the definition of unexceptional. It's whether it's the Ferrari is definitely not unexceptional, but that's kind of it's a
But
posh version of an unexceptional car, isn't it?
this is amazing.
That's epic.
That's one of my favourite cars here. They're just such a riot to drive.
But I've never.
Look.
I haven't.
Now do you remember them from Southampton?
What a stringer! Me, yeah.
Do you remember them?
Jeez.
They were up near the avenue, weren't they?
Yeah.
Or was that Wadham Kenning?
I think didn't Wadham Stringer become Wadham Kenning? They merged, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah. I genuinely I couldn't tell you for sure. But I assumed that was. What about one is back?
What? Where?
Yeah, I know the owner of this one. I was chatting to the guy. Actually, the guy. Who
Oh, there.
Isn't the owner. It's owned by.
Another Rocco.
Brand
Oh, right.
Oh, is that him?
Ah.
Oh, okay.
He's not the one who bought it here today. He bought a brown 3 Series.
I used to have one of these.
Friend of his looks after it.
I didn't have the spoiler, but I'm baffled by what's happened there.
Hey, that's very good, Rich.
Do you think so?
I'm impressed.
I know about cars. I do like marinas. I don't know why.
I kind of like the coupes, I have to say. There's a bloke down
They look really odd because the door, normally on a 3-door, the front doors are bigger, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah,
But on this
yeah.
car, they're like, no.
Yeah. It kind of gives it a sort of shooting break.
And then, yeah. I'll have to get one day or just...
Will you, though? Will you have to?
Well, have is a difficult word. That's a BX leader.
Is it a leader?
It's a leader. Don't question me. It's a leader.
It's not got the
I know, but it's a leader. Trust.
I don't know.
Trust the process. Look at the
I'm
seats.
going to have to look at the back like you did when I said the Sunny was a Sunny.
Ah, but it might have had the stickers taken off.
Ah, well, then we can't be sure, can we? Got a tailblazer.
It's a 14E leader. It has got a tailblazer. I don't like those. I think they can get in the
I
sea.
don't think it looks right on this, but I quite like it on a dark green GTI or something.
It's a very tidy car, that though. I said to... Sorry?
Is that aftermarket?
It's like a genuine accessory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you can tell it's a more basic one because it's got a boot lock.
Yeah.
No wiper.
Yeah.
Do you know what that little hole's for?
Washer jet? No, it wouldn't be.
To stop this filling up with water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it drains out of there.
Oh,
If you can tell when somebody doesn't wash one of these because you end up with a little streak down here. where
Yeah,
the water
or if you've got a
pisses out.
16 valve and they never wash it and it's full of grit. So when you wash the car, you end up with a puddle there
Yeah.
and it's blocked.
Yeah.
And you put an airline through it and it's hilarious. I like those Civics. Is that an
I do too.
EG Civic?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I really like those.
I've always thought they were a really great looking little car.
Yeah, I really like
It's a
those.
3-door hatchback.
The VTI would be quite a good little hot hatch,
No,
I
yeah,
think.
definitely, yeah.
A 2CV, apparently. Is that a 2CV? I think that's a
Might
2CV.
be. Don't know.
A Rover. Is that a Rover 600 Ti? Did you have one of those?
I never had one of those. No, I had a Vitesse.
Oh yeah.
I had 2 Vitesse.
And you went on about the Torsen diff.
I did.
Oh no, it's only got a single exhaust, look, so it's... You knew if you had a posh Rover because it had twin exhaust.
Yeah, because the TI's got bigger versions of these wheels, hasn't it?
Yeah, they're quite good looking cars, though, aren't they? They're quite handsome
They're actually
cars.
Really good looking. And they're very well proportioned. They're very nice.
Yeah, and they have Hondas underneath, so they're actually decent
exactly.
cars.
They didn't go heavy on the chrome. I mean, there's a little bit of chrome, but they didn't go too mad. This is the design direction Rover should continue with, rather than going, all chintzy and
They went a
old-fashioned,
bit.
in my view.
They went a bit too
If
far.
they carried on like that.
They went a bit too wooden fireplace, didn't they?
So, I think so.
I'm gonna get run over. Is that a merit?
It is a merit, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there's the clue. I said that while looking the other way. I quite like these. I think the hatchbacks were good looking.
I just don't like it. It's a 1.7D. Wow.
Oh wow.
Aspirated diesel.
So is that the Isuzu engine?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. 80 sport.
That's cool, isn't it?
This is very cool.
Are these 5-cylinder or 2?
I don't think so.
So this would have been BX's rival.
Are these not a Mark 1 Golf GTI engine?
No, that's got no. That's well, it might be. It's in line though, isn't it? Because the engine must be about here.
Yeah. I think it's a
Hashtag
I'm being
understeer.
really cautious about what I say now because I'm conscious that at some point this is going to end up on YouTube.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. You don't know these.
frankly.
You don't know these people.
No, that's a good point.
Awesome little pickup truck. Look at that. That's a Datsun as well. Datsuns are like BXs here, aren't they? There's loads of them. It's cool though, isn't it? I've got one of these on BeamNG as well, I think.
That's a 120Y. Love this colour on this one. That's nice. That's not ball night, is it? That's
Are those the headrests that pop up by vacuum or air pressure or something? These are cool. Well, no, hang on, they're not cool,
no, I think
but they were really good, weren't they? They just
very good.
for their time they were like they were a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, they were.
Because when this came out, the Mark IV Escort was out. So I mean, look at the difference.
If you look at that, that design came out in 1988. And I
Yeah.
would imagine
Well, there's a Concerto here as well, look.
That to me would have looked fresh in the mid 90s still. Yeah, it's the same car.
Yeah. Concerto Carina-E.
They were really good. Really good little cars actually, those Rovers. And for a while they were kind of the best in class.
OMG head gasket.
Yeah, that's not an issue these days. I mean, it still is an issue.
Because the worst thing to do would be to go and buy a green coupe with someone who knows about cars in Southampton from a dodgiest looking car lot you've ever seen, with a coolant bottle that's slightly empty, and go, no, that'd be fine.
Don't blame me. You're the bloke who knows about cars.
And yeah, but my knowledge goes out the window. If I'm buying it, I just get excited. I needed you to be my voice of reason.
I was very much not that at that time, and you know that. Don't forget, I used to think my Capri had 180 horsepower at that time. What on earth were you doing trusting me?
Well, Ford said it 150, and that's no 160,
Yeah.
and that was lies. That's an early Mark II, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? A-plane.
One thing I noticed when I was a kid, and I'm in the right place to talk about stuff like this, is that when I was a kid, I noticed that the early ones have a quarter light, and they have the door mirror in line with the quarter light, and then the later ones don't have a quarter light, and the door mirror moves forward.
And I think the other way to tell is the badging on the back. The early ones had a Volkswagen script badge on the left, and then later ones had a central ramble.
Do you think anyone's still awake?
Probably not.
No. Oh, I saw that on the way up. I love these.
They are looking cooler as time.
Do you know, I follow a guy on YouTube, which is full of dodgy people, called Julian Edgar, and he's like an Australian engineer, designer, and he says, yeah, he's pretty good, and he says, for his money, hydrogas is better than hydropneumatic, because he said, although hydropneumatic is better, like it's smoother and everything like that, it's so much more complicated compared to...
It is a very simple solution.
Yeah,
guess.
you can put that in a Metro. It's that, you know, and it's more, it's kind of ingenious.
It does make sense.
So,
I can see the argument.
and the other thing I've noticed...
You should do it in your YouTube videos.
What?
Hydropneumatic versus hydrogas.
Are you going to be in my
But I haven't got hydrogas.
We can find someone who's got one, surely. There you go. Get this in a CX.
It's only a matter of time before I buy a Metro. They've got a decent room in the back. Well, I remembered they do, but that one doesn't.
I think the front seat's cranked quite far back, to be fair.
Ah, tall people. Oh, look, there's a Fiat, and then there's a...
Oh, I love that Jag.
That's very yellow.
I mean, literally, it isn't.
I got picked up from school by my old man, one of them.
Did you?
Back in when they were new, when he was a journo.
I got picked up by a guy in one of these once as well. He said he had sweets. I'll tell you what, though, the boot was surprisingly roomy. I could lay down flat in it. I'll have to edit that out.
Oh, I love this. This is nice. I really want one of these Volvos.
They did a model of this called the Tours Lander, didn't they?
This is a Tours Lander.
That's everything I know about
I think
those.
this is a Tours Lander.
There's a Cortina.
Cortina landslide.
AC/DC. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yes.
Amiga. This is well placed. This deserves to be here, I think.
Alpha Omega. Yeah, I think so. I thought these were really good looking, the early ones. When they first came out,
I agree.
I thought they were good looking motors. But
When you consider the standard the cars Vauxhall was making at the time, these were really good.
how dull are we talking today? Can we? Let's be frank. Are we? How dull are we being?
I've removed my filter.
Okay. So when I was a kid, I noticed that the door on the Amiga came down to the wheel arch, and there was no separate line here. Same as the Carlton.
See, there's little things like that are, you know, they mark out somebody who's actually spent some time designing the way that works and the way it looks. Just remove
And it
that
marks
line.
out the sort of person who would notice that as the sort of person who hasn't discovered girls.
Quite.
So
Still true today, isn't it? Oh, hello, Max.
that is a really, really, really cool Renault van. Oh, you mean that? Ah. I crashed one of those into a building at the top of a multi-storey car park in the ice and didn't tell anyone.
Great story.
True story. Hey, look. It's the last ever Cavalier.
Oh, bloody hell. Wow.
Why haven't they put it in a museum?
Hold on a second. Didn't the last Cavalier have like extra lights here?
No, that's only if it was the posher model. I think if it was an SRI or something, it had a little extension piece. Yeah, it was like you kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a family engine. I don't know what one. Family 1, Family 2, Adam's family.
That much?
That's Chris's ZX, yeah. Looks better without the flames. Isn't it?
No.
Oh, we sold it.
Sold it, yeah.
Oh, right. I don't pay attention. I can barely remember what I'm doing. That
It
is...
wasn't him driving in this morning.
Yes, Katie's, yes. Yeah. I love that Scirocco. I think that looks so good. Are those Renault wheels?
Make sure you film her new steering wheel as well. I don't know, actually. Renault wheels.
Yeah, they look like Renault turbines. I think they do have the same PCD as VW. But I had a mate who had a Renault 5 Turbo, and I swear it had a set of those on it. Might not
They're
be.
not the same. They're similar to my GTAs, but they're not the same. If they're the ones.
Oh wow, that's...
Yeah. Properly white.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a... I'm more OEM on the steering wheel. But I just love the look of this thing. I think she's got it absolutely spot on. Yeah. The height, the wheels. They're wicked looking cars, aren't they?
Brilliant, yeah. Funny thing is, I was never a big fan of them back in
when
they were new, but one of those cars that, you know, grow on you over time.
Well, when this was new, I was 7. So I probably didn't...
Gee, you're a young man.
Yeah.
I was older than 7, sadly.
There's a really right bag of crap. I'm not going to bother filming that one. That's Matt's Hyundai with a Rover V8 in it.
So that explains the exhaust note when it drove past us.
What, you thought you had a big speaker on it
I
or
was standing
something?
way away, I can hear this burbling. I was like, that doesn't sound right for that car.
Oh, there's Antia.
State.
Yeah, I'm not into this. I'm not into the Phase 2.
Doesn't look as good, does it?
No, I
Just
don't
like
think
the
so.
XM.
Yeah,
Same with the XM.
same thing. Although,
Made it more conservative, didn't they?
funny that it's got the Espero behind it, which was a design submitted to Citroën for the Xantia, apparently. And they said, no thanks, or something like that. You'd have to watch
Oh, sorry, that.
the
Right.
Daewoo, yeah.
I'm with you now.
Yeah, Ian did a video, didn't he? Hubnut, he did a
Right, yes.
one on the white Daewoo, and there is a similarity with that.
You can see in the notes.
Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, if you look at
Very
the
much, very
XM
much.
as well, the XM with like the floating roof,
Yeah.
and the Espero's got that going on at the back. So I remember the Esperos, you'd buy them at Halfords.
That's right, they did the no dealer
Yeah.
thing, didn't they?
And that didn't work
Yeah, I
out.
remember that.
An Ital. Do you know what I find funny about that? That was on sale the same time as the Sierra, and like 18 months before the BX.
That's crazy.
And that's got 60s technology underpinning.
That is mad. There's a nice brown one of them actually on the other side.
I quite like those polos.
Red band style.
I'll call them dog bus. We always used to call them dog bus when we were kids. My auntie had a white one.
They were so, I remember they were so, they were, even for then, so basic.
Yeah, that's it.
Back in the days where you didn't get anything, you know, got no equipment on them, you had to pay for like a rear wiper and... heated screen.
You can edit me in back in.
You're the sweary ones back here. So I bet you'll tell me all sorts of interesting stuff about that.
Oh, really? Will I?
Well, I was hoping you were going to start and I was going to comically walk off.
It's got the wrong wheels for starters.
Yeah, there's some.
I had them on my,
Shouldn't it have those ones that are kind of like AMG looking, like mini versions of an AMG deep dish?
Oh, yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, probably if it's a gear. In fact, it's got the weird.
It's got the SI type seats, look.
Yeah, you're right.
My father-in-law would tell me all about that. He would know.
Are they not Fiesta SI seats as well?
Well, no, I think Escorts had them.
Did they?
Yeah.
I think Escort SI's one.
Look, it says Escort vehicle.
That's very clever.
Good gags. Good lols.
That had a sticker on the front that said "Gathering of the Griffin."
Did it?
Yeah.
Isn't that a Vauxhall, a Griffin?
Yeah, I'd have thought so.
So there's more
I don't know what that
Citroens.
means, to be honest.
Avoid people who drive cars like that. Very, very dodgy. And those.
I can't believe you're not showing people a really nice Saab that's for sale over there.
Where? Oh yeah! Buy the Saab. He only wants £300 for it.
oh,
I was just saying to Rich Aaron,
is this the last time?
the last time, the Saab and probably the TVR as well.
It's such a good car that you bought it once and then sold it and then bought it back and then...
Now I'm telling you. Oh, and the TVR have to go.
I recognise this.
I love this. This is lovely.
This is lovely. This is the one I drove with the camera on my head.
This is what does it.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you know what? When I noticed when I was another one, I noticed when I was a kid, when it drives down the road, these look like they're rotating, or they,
Yes.
well, they don't. They look like they're static, and that looks like it's rotating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool.
Trippy.
Yeah.
My dad had one of these, and that fell off, and that fell off, and 3 of the wheel trims fell off, so we just took the 4th one off.
They're reliable cars.
Um,
Well built. Really well put together.
they're really. That is. Well, when you sit in the CX for the first time, or you sit in that for the first time, that's more dramatic.
Do you reckon?
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to say something controversial. It's because it's the roof. Because you sit in it and you've just got this like wrap-around view, you know, with all the quarter lights and everything. It's like nothing
Yeah,
else.
I get it.
It's really dramatic when you sit. You're like, whoa. Whereas the
I do-
CX just
I
feels
do-
like an old car.
I do really
You know.
want one of those. I do really want that. I've always wanted one.
I can't decide whether I want the CX or an XM.
Well, I have the
They're
same
both on
problem.
my like wish bucket
Yeah,
list, so to
yeah.
speak.
The XM is really, really underrated. They're
Yeah,
really
I think
good.
so. I love this little Renault though.
It's cool, isn't it?
Electronic, is it?
This is an 11, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's the electronic.
Is it? Oh, wow!
Crisis!
God, look at the amp.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I think this is synthesizer. Hello. How you doing?
I'm good. This has a proper digital deaf in last
Yeah.
It talks.
I know.
The guy was showing us. I was like,
It's amazing.
oh, hello. Yes,
That's what I don't like. I'm fairly inconspicuous. Leave it.
I think we all are. We sort of get to this middle age.
I'm going to blame Phil's shirt. It's definitely it's pulling the attention.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what it is. That a okay? You got minis, you got Beetles. That's Panhard.
I haven't even looked back close.
What do you think this car is?
Innocenti something, isn't it? No.
I think it's a small 500 SE, but I'm just off the top of my head.
It's a small 500 SE.
I think that's what it's called. That's just, you know, I mean, I'm no expert, but I reckon that's what
I
that
would have
is.
guessed it was sort of. I don't know, to be honest with you, but I'm guessing.
Should we find out?
Let's go.
Should we see how right I am?
Wow, it's going to be.
How thin are you?
Well, it says Innocenti on the
Cheers.
so I'm feeling confident.
I think it's a small 500 SE, but oh look,
Ah, there we go.
yeah, yeah. I had no idea. I definitely hadn't been round the back.
Of course not. Absolutely not.
But there's a Peugeot 604.
I'm getting to that.
No, I can't look at that.
Why can't you look at this?
I can't look at the Peugeot.
Oh, you can't look at the Peugeot.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm just saying it's there.
So this is basically like my car, but better.
This is basically like your car, except not a Vauxhall.
I mean, there is that, yeah. That's nice, isn't it?
Do you know?
These are worth now because the turbos are worth quite a lot, but the Bogo like low spec ones just not worth anything.
No.
Still.
Do you know
Quite
that
classic to buy.
that's a V6?
Yeah, really.
Do you know how I know this?
I got wheels. No.
No.
Exhaust.
No.
No. Stumped then.
You're going to learn something today.
You're going to teach me something about rovers?
Yeah?
What is happening to the world? Oh wait, headlamp washers?
No,
Mesh?
no. All of these could be valid, but they're not the ones I know. The number plate is mounted slightly higher up.
Wow.
Why?
To give more airflow.
And more airflow.
Wow.
That's excellent.
How do you know that?
That is a great bit of trivia.
It will not surprise you to learn at all that I learnt it from Hubnut. And round. I see the back of a 928 over there. That doesn't really belong, but I'll make an exception because I do like a 928. Is that a V8S? Because it's got the gold wheels. Look, it's got a TVR V8.
That is such a gorgeous colour.
Is it a V8S? No, it's not.
We've also...
This AX, it says it's powered by fairy dust.
Ah, okay.
I see the exhaust
Yeah.
and the increased stance and the fact they've had to pull the rear arches
Right,
out.
yes.
And it's blatantly got a wider track on the front, which
Yeah.
suggests to me this has got Saxo running gear, and therefore I would suggest it's not powered by fairy dust, it's powered by a Saxo VTS engine.
I mean, that could be considered to be fairy dust. You've sprinkled some magic into the engine bay.
But they're real, they're not fictional.
Mate, are you saying fairies aren't real? My daughter will be disappointed.
Oh, I better edit that out. So there's a I see the Peugeot. If you
I love the Renault as well. I love
the Renault I like. But if you read the book I've got about SMs,
Yeah.
Accidental Death of an
I'm
Icon,
ignoring that for the time being.
you'll come out the end of that book and you will hate 604s.
Really?
Yep.
What did it do to the SM then?
It's not the SM actually. It's more the CX. It's not the car itself. It was Peugeot, but it's a fairly. Although, do you know did I mention I've got an SM?
I haven't heard much about it.
Right. Well, that's got an automatic gearbox, and the gear lever in that is from a Peugeot 604 automatic.
Oh.
There you go.
How many SMs have you got now?
Depends.
That's actually a very good question.
It depends.
How many
I've
body shells of an SM have you got?
complete 2. One of them's in multiple pieces.
Can we just pause and observe the name of the special edition of this Volvo 340, which is the most incongruous special edition?
Yeah, but you probably could hit the red line in it,
Well, yes.
because the red line's probably at about 4,500 or something like that.
That's
It's
sensational.
at 5.5.
I love the steering wheel.
That's like the one I've got in the Imp, in Hilda.
Yeah, but in this it just looks ridiculous.
I know, and in this, it's in a car that works. Headlamp wiper. No, that's Ian. That's copyright. Can't do that one. I like Charleston's in the grey combo.
I'm getting this odd feeling that one of these days I'm going to own a 2CV.
Yeah, so am I.
As
No,
time
I probably
goes
have a
by-
Diane because it's the cost, isn't it? They're expensive.
As time goes by, the thing is, what I really want is a Renault 4. That's
Oh,
what
is
I
that the
actually really
Pinto Sporting that Chappie
Yes.
was on about?
Yes, it is.
That, being an S-Reg, is probably a 1.2. They did a 1.6 and they did a 1.2. The 1.2 had 85 horsepower.
It's pretty good for a 1.2, isn't it?
We used to do shenanigans when I was young, and a friend of mine had one of these, and he drove it so hard, he lit a cigarette off the brake disc. And then he did a handbrake turn and tore the rear tyre off on an old airfield. And we had lots of fun and games because we watched one of the experts who was with us try and pump it up with a foot pump. Because he said if you pump it up fast enough, it'll pop back onto the bead.
With a foot pump.
Yeah, with a foot pump, and we just stood and watched. Enjoyable evening.
An Astra.
There's an Astra. That's a Visa Special.
Now, that I'm into.
Is that a Visa 11 or a Visa 2?
That is a 2, isn't it? Because it's not got the little bits on the 1. I would have said.
think they have the little
what
bits on the
Citroen-
1.
I don't know what Citroen script.
I think
whether
a
the one
Visa.
has little.
I think a Visa Special is the one with the air-cooled engine. Look at this. I think that's got the little
I
tiny.
did know this recently, but I can't remember.
Shall I find out? Yeah, I think that's an air-cooled engine.
I love this. I love the interior. You know, there's one of these for sale at the moment on Car and Classic. I was tempted.
Do you know what else is for sale on Car and Classic? A Reliant Fox. You should buy one. Is that a Fiesta S?
Off the top of my head, probably.
Come on, you're the Ford guy.
It might be an SX.
Well, you. No, it's
might
not
be.
an SX.
It might be a 1.3 SX.
No,
No? Wow.
no. That's a 1.6S.
You reckon? You're
Oh
probably
no!
right.
Oh no! The wheel trims are throwing me off.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what got me. I don't know.
My father-in-law doesn't watch this, but if he did, he'd be screaming at the screen right now. Oh, it's got quite basic seats, so yeah, you might. Oh, but they got a bit of a bolster though.
We'll just have to look at the back to see, won't we?
Are you ready?
I'm not actually. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yes.
He's got it. He's done it.
Panda. They really missed the trick by not doing a pop special edition.
They did, didn't they?
Oh, I don't know.
There was a Panda Pop.
Oh,
You could buy a Panda Pop.
damn.
Base spec.
Oh, well, there you go. That's.
I know they did a 500 Pop.
Someone bought
a Panda Pop actually.
Someone bought a Maestro abroad. Oh, that's the thing that Ian drove, the Espace.
Is it?
Watched that the other day.
That's very nice.
It's funky.
That is a lovely car.
Matches that man's t-shirt.
Apparently it was hand painted by the owner. Maybe it's a sign, isn't
It is. It is. It is.
I should be driving off in that.
Yeah.
I don't want one of these, you see.
I don't out of principle.
Well, yes, I know, but you're funny about Peugeots, aren't you?
No, it's not that. I don't like hatchbacks that they cut the roof off.
As I was told,
Makes them wobbly and heavy.
As I was told on Twitter the other day by Nir Khan, who's a car designer, the difference with this is they didn't chop the top off the hatchback, chopped off the saloon. So there you go.
The outcome is the
You
same.
can't tell me I'm wrong.
I can't tell you wrong. That's got a saloon back end.
Exactly. Because he's right.
He is right.
But also I did make the point that, well, the saloon is based on the hatchback, so...
Yes.
Also...
There's a very... Look, this Alpha... Is that one of the best cars here? No, that one.
Oh, that one?
Look at it. That is... Come on.
If we were
Come on, look at
If we
it.
were doing best Italian
A
style
poverty
Italian car,
spec
it is.
Alpha.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's a poverty spec
Yeah,
Alpha with a boxer
that is very
engine.
unexceptional. So I take your point.
That's one of the cars of the
It's
show.
fairly unrestored, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's
But
but it's the
fairly
fact it
decent,
exists.
Yeah.
Because Alphas are normally all like flamboyant and stuff, and that is...
Yeah. No, I take your point. Yeah. Your logic is sound.
You sound surprised.
Well, I am.
Because it makes a change.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got a Seat Cordoba over there, look. My neighbour replaced his Nissan Sunny saloon thing with one of them.
We had a penchant for things like that.
He knew that one day it was going to give me content. So
Everything is content.
everything is content. That's got the coolest door handles
Yeah.
of any
yeah,
car.
true. Nice old 9000 over there.
And you know, to think, so 55, 56.
That was here last year, I think. That,
Was it?
yeah. Oh, look at that 2CV. You look a bit of a Saab, don't you? What's that platform called? The one that the 9000 and the FEMA and
Group 4.
Group 4. To Group 4 or Type 4, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And the Alpha 164.
Yeah, that's that, isn't it? It's the same car, basically.
Yeah. And the Fiat Chroma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's a big gap.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you remember when I bought one day like that, Rich?
Is that the one that the captive nuts for the subframe had rusted off in, and you couldn't get the subframe off to get the clutch done?
Possibly.
And you had to leave it in a barn in
It
Bristol?
wasn't that was the problem. The problem was that when the guy who was doing the clutch, Chris, do you remember Chris?
Yes.
When he was doing the clutch, he pulled the clutch out and found it was covered in ATF. And he said, why is it covered in ATF? It's a manual.
I didn't know that.
And we worked out that somebody filled the box with ATF and it all spewed out over the clutch, which is why the clutch was juddering. So the box was buggered as well. So we then had to replace the box, which is why I left it in the barn, was for him to replace the box. Yeah, that was a bad day.
I had to give you a lift back if I remember
did.
rightly.
You did. And I ended up having to buy yours anti because I couldn't then take it in France. I reckon it was your fault. You filled my gearbox with ATF, didn't you, to make me buy yours
Mate,
anti?
the lengths I go to get a sale, don't ever underestimate. I've only driven one Nova GTE.
What was it like?
It didn't have a steering lock.
Oh, okay.
It had loads of wires twisted together and a button. And it was owned by a 14-year-old.
Right.
And he said, can you drive it? To see if it's all right.
When you say owned,
Yeah, apparently. And he was one of my brother's mates.
are we talking in a legal sense, or are we talking in a he was the bloke who had the car at that precise moment?
He was in
time?
possession of the car. I drove it anyway because I was young and naive and thought, I can see nothing wrong with this.
The issues that you have just described, that perhaps
I just assumed all Novas were like that. Is that
every Nova I've ever seen has been like that.
There's a Saxo Furio. I had a Saxo
Here
Furio.
as well.
But that year there we'll have the multicolour seat belts.
Oh, Okay.
And it'll have, oh, that's Russ's XM.
That's Ross's XM. That's Sean's Volvo. That's Tom's Peugeot. And is that Jim's Fiat as well?
Man, I
It is
can't
Jim's
remember.
Fiat,
I don't even know how you remember all this.
I don't either, to be honest. Well, I know Tom because Tom's a fellow motoring journalist.
That's bright.
Um,
Oh, the battery's about to die.
what, on the Audi?
What? I don't.
Fuck me, you're a good mechanic.
I am. I'm.
Wow. It's like the Audi whisperer.
Yeah. Oh no! I just had a cold shiver come over me. Have you seen why?
Yes, I have.
That Cavalier
Yeah,
L.
it's lovely, isn't it?
It is. My gran had a Cavalier L, although it was a C reg,
Okay.
so it had the slatted
Yes.
rear lights.
Pre-facelift. My dad had a pre-facelift Cavalier 2-litre I CD in black with brown Draylon seats.
So he was obviously earning.
Oh.
He
Well,
was.
an accountant, so
Ah, yeah.
of course he bought the
CD,
very
yeah.
sensible but slightly posh Vauxhall.
I watched a regular car reviews video the other day and didn't realise there was a Cadillac version of this.
There was, yeah. There was all sorts of versions.
Ca-
There was a
Cimarron.
Holden version, there was a Buick version, there was even a, I think there was even an Oldsmobile version.
Yeah.
Basically every GM brand that you can think of, there was a version of that.
It's not as good as a BX, obviously, but
They're still very nice old things, though.
yeah, but it's not as good as a BX, is it?
No, Rich, it's not as good as a BX.
That's right. There's a Volvo there. That's a funky colour.
£2,000?
Is that original, do you think? Because that is like properly ahead of its time, because that's kind of fashionable
I'm
now.
standing next
Looks
to
like
Pinto
Nardo
Cavalier.
grey, isn't it?
Yeah. That's cool. Oh, look at that. I mean, it's not unexceptional, is it? But it's very cool.
Yeah, it is.
What is that?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a Suzuki? Or a Honda or something? Is that a K? I guess it's a K car.
Yeah, it is. Doesn't like anything that's sold here.
That is a two. Ooh. Is that a GSI?
Or is it an SLI?
Yeah, I was thinking SLI, but it's got. Has it got electric? Oh no, it's got manual rear windows, so that's going to be an SLI. 214 or 216? There's no way of knowing, is there?
Wheel trim?
Look for coolant underneath it. If it's coolant underneath it, it's a
214.
214. SI.
Oh, SI.
He's got the wrong wheel trims.
Really?
Yes. Yes, he has the wrong wheel trims. Push the she, they.
You know when you think you know about stuff, and then you meet someone who makes you realise you really don't know about stuff. So
It's a fellow Max. It's just the coolest name for a car, isn't it? It's the least kind of aggressive. It's the opposite of modern cars, isn't it? Where everyone's trying to be all.
I think the Japanese are good at coming up with kind of friendly car names, aren't they?
With friendly faces.
Yes.
Look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that sits on your bumper, tailgating you, you're just going to go, oh.
Oh, isn't it cute?
And there's going to be no road rage, and there'll be less deaths. So the Japanese are thinking of people. It is Diddy, isn't it? That's an early Cavalier.
Surprising amount of rear leg room. Considering how tiny it is. And front leg room for that matter.
Actually, that's quite impressive. Because that seat's not, well, it is. It's not that far forward, that seat, is it?
It's crazy.
You always need a Coke can, so then you can get it for
That's packaging, isn't it? Packaging masterclass. I'm going to hang around by this Rover and tell him he's got the wrong wheel trims when he comes back. It's going to bug me if I don't. Oh, I don't know if you're aware. But then he might tell me, yeah, I know. I've got the SI ones at home in the garage. I saved them for best. And I was like, okay. Well, that's fair enough and completely understandable.